Welcome back to Good Morning Europe. Judge Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed to the United States Supreme Court, solidifying the Conservatives' balance of the nation's highest judicial body. The vote was passed along essentially party lines, but Coney Barrett promised to stay above the political fray.
The oath that I have solemnly taken tonight means at its core that I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences.
By filling the vacancy left by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Donald Trump has now successfully appointed 3 justices to the 9-member Supreme Court, a legacy that could shape the country's legal landscape for decades. Coney Barrett took the first of 2 judicial oaths during a ceremony at the White House. It was attended by the president and the Republican lawmakers who led the campaign to rush through her confirmation ahead of next week's election. Democrats have warned that conservative Coney Barrett poses a threat to the Affordable Health Care Act and to women's reproductive rights. But President Trump stressed her qualifications for the job.
Over the past few weeks, the entire world has seen Justice Barrett's deep knowledge, tremendous poise, and towering intellect. She answered questions for hours on end. Throughout her entire confirmation, her impeccable credentials were unquestioned, unchallenged, and obvious to all.
Ahead of the confirmation vote, the Democrat Senate leader, Chuck Schumer, tore into his Republican colleagues, depicting the process as an immoral and undemocratic power grab.
Let the record show that tonight, the Republican majority will make a mockery of its own stated principle that the American people deserve a voice in the selection of Supreme Court justices, completing the partisan theft of 2 seats on the Supreme Court using completely contradictory rationales.
Our reporter Colin Campbell's been following the confirmation process in Washington, D.C., and he says a lot of Democrats are paying attention to what Justice Coney Barrett might mean for the future of the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare.
This was obviously one of the big topics during her hearings, and of course something that many Democrats are trepidatious about. However, that's not going to be one of the pressing issues that she will most likely address right away. Roe versus Wade, of course, has also been a big topic. But what might be one of the biggest issues that she might face in upcoming weeks is something dealing with elections, with counting ballots in the state of Pennsylvania. Republicans wanted to stay on the ballot as well as ballots that were being cast within Election Day, and whether or not those ballots could be counted within 3 days of that Election Day. Now, there has been some squabbling over whether or not these ballots could be counted, and it could be up to the Supreme Court to decide whether or not these ballots would be registered, even if they don't have postmarked dates on them. Another big issue is the president's financial records, which would include his tax returns. Now, the Supreme Court sent a decision back. It was decided 7-2 to send it back to a lower court to decide whether or not these tax records or these financial records would be released. And they allowed the Trump administration to file an appeal so that there would be a more focused targeting of what financial records he would actually have to release. Well, that decision on what he would really need to release between the years of 2011 to 2019 would be decided upon by the Supreme Court. And being that it is now firmly right-leaning, it could be in the president's favor where he wouldn't have to release his tax returns, financial documents, or at the very least, the amount that he would need to release would be truncated.
The other question that we'll be interested in is to what extent will this confirmation of Coney Barrett into the Supreme Court, what extent could that actually have an impact on the result of the election?
Well, that's what a lot of people are wondering right now. It depends on how close it is. Right now, we see the former Vice President Joe Biden really having a lead against the president right now in many states. However, we've seen this before. Back in 2016, when Hillary Clinton was ahead, a lot of people thought that she was definitely going to run away with the race. As we found out, that was definitely not true. So many people are looking at how close the election is to see if the Supreme Court would have to decide this. And we've seen this happen before with the Hanging Chads episode, and when the Supreme Court had to decide on the state of Florida, whether or not the many ballots there would be counted and who won that state outright. So some people are biting their nails to see if this would have to go to the Supreme Court. We are less than a week away till voting day, till election day, and some people are nervous, but they're hoping that it won't have to go to the nation's highest court in the land to decide who the next president of the United States will be.